Oh mama, education is free.
Education is free. Fangul, good evening and welcome to Radio Collected Education Corner, the program that comes up every Sunday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Education Corner is a program designed by management to look at or discuss issues that affect education in the country, particularly in Cambia district. Our topic today is the negative effect of social media to school-going pupils. What is social media? First of all, in the topic, we're going to look at definition of the key terms social media. We are going to look at the different platforms that make up of the social media and how children, school-going pupils, should have been using this social media to bolster their educational pursuits. In the studio 2, I have been joined with a high-profile guest who will be helping us looking at this very important topic, the negative effects of the social media to school-going pupils. Let me welcome Mohamed Lamin Kamara. Good evening, welcome to Radio Collected Education Corner program.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Samad. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Of course, also Anol A. Kamara is part of my guest this evening. We will be helping in looking at the program Education Corner. Good evening, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Samad, and good evening to all listeners of Radio Collected.
All right. Well, listeners, if you're just joining us, you're listening to the program Education Corner. Education program is a program that is designed to look at issues that border on education. And of course, you're getting us live from Radio Collected 90.7. If you are touched by the issues, Education Corner, and of course the topic, which is the negative effects of the social media to school-going pupils. You can send your comments, contributions, text message or call on the number 03281 033 207-280, 033-207-280, 078-987-315, 078-987-315 or 034-905-905, 034-905-905. Those are the numbers you will send your comments, contributions, and be part of the program. My name is Abdul Samad Dumbua, who is bringing you to this edition of the program, Education Corner. Indeed, when a child is educated, then that particular child knows what is good for her and what is not good for her. Let me start with Anol Igamara. The topic is the negative effect of social media to school-going pupils. First, let's look at the key term here, or the phrase, social media. What's your understanding of this broad term or phrase, social media?
All right, thank you so much once more, Mr. Abdul Samad. And to listeners, I want to say it's a pleasure for having me, and also for us to start discussing on the topic, the negative effects of social media towards the school-going pupils, that is the education sector. But first, social media is a platform where we interact, we send in messages, we communicate, we network. When I say network, it has to do with one or two communication between you and I, or maybe a person living in a different location from where you stay. So it's like this is a place where we communicate, we pass on good ideas, we plan, we form to build communities. We also design, we learn from it also. So like it's a place where, can I say, it's a world on its own for now, because the trend of the world now, we are seeing different things, in terms of cyber security. So like it leads us to the social media. So it has its own world. It is not different from the world we are living,
okay,
but it's something interrelated, because the way you see me sitting here today talking, what I post on social media is what you see in me, that I'm the person or this is what I'm doing presently. So
Okay.
like if I'm here and post something, then I send it on social media, it clearly tells you that Arnold is doing something at the radio now.
In other
So
words,
like,
it talks about your state of being.
yes, yes, it talks about your state of being.
Okay.
It explain. It's a place wherein also we interact, we communicate.
Okay.
I mean, we network again. Maybe we have not yet met for maybe 1 or 2 years back. Then you heard of the president for Children's Forum Network Gambia,
Yeah.
and you say, okay, I want to meet this person.
Yeah.
So maybe you have to ask a friend to locate you the president. Then maybe the means is only to share with you the WhatsApp number, or maybe the individual will just say, okay, go now on Facebook and chat for Arnold Alassane Camara. He's the president. Maybe you have 1 or 2 information you want. So it helps us also to network,
Okay.
and with different people. I mean, new friends and old friends also.
All right. Thank you very much. That's Arnold A. Camara explaining the phrase social media, what it means. It's according to him, it fosters interaction between and one another. It also fosters a state of being. For example, you can be here in the studios with pictures sending out there. The viewer would definitely realize that Arnold A. Camara is at Radio Colente 90.7, is doing a program. You know, it's also, you also talk about location, like you said, state of being, and it talks about networking. Let me bring in Mohamed Amin Camara, that is Coutinho. What's your take on this phrase, social media? Does this become a topical topic all over the world?
Of course, yes, Mr. Samad. Social media has become a topic in the lips of many, and I want to say it's the order of the globe now. When you look at the way we are living, the 21st century, to me, it focuses on social media. Just as my brother has mentioned that it is an interactive form of communication, of course, that exists, between or among persons, because we have some of these applications that engages a number of people in communication. And some of these applications are Facebook.
We shall come to that.
Of course.
Basically, just a background in terms of social media and what is it all about.
All right. Yeah. Of course. And to me, it has some importance and significance. Of course, just as you've mentioned that we shall be coming to that.
Yeah.
And again, of course, there are setbacks. Of course, that. But it all boils in the same pot that the intention of using one of some of these applications may move you forward.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's Mohamed Amin Camara. Of course, he's the outgoing Secretary General for the Gambia District Student Association, CATSA, and of course also the President of the Children Forum Network Gambia, Arnold A. Camara, also a very committed, dedicated worker of Radio Colente 90.7. He's also a social media guru. If you want the best of social media education, I think you can also contact him. Now, let me look at Arnold A. Camara. Let me look at the different social media platform. I mean, the different social media platform that are in operational.
To start with, we have about 6
Okay.
different, types of social media platforms.
Okay.
And namely, we have social networking, social bookmarking, social news, media sharing, microblogging, and online forums. Let me start with the microblogging. For now, we are seeing our brothers and sisters now. Everyone is a blogger on Facebook.
Okay.
That's just an example. It's for example now, if I am Arnold, I want to advocate on a particular issue. Let's say teenage pregnancy now.
Okay.
So if I want to advocate on it, I will just go on Facebook. I create a whole platform.
Okay.
And maybe I'll just write advocacy to end child marriage or maybe teenage pregnancy.
Okay.
And after that, everything or whatever thing is coming from that platform has to do with teenage pregnancy or early marriage.
Okay.
So like it communicates. These are another blog that gives out information another set of social media platform. And also the networking. I will just explain briefly. The networking also. As I said earlier on, it helps us also for job opportunities. For example, the trend of the world, like my brother was saying, the way the 21st century now, everything has to do with the digital world. We are living in a world of communication. So let's say IBOVAC or Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education have application now for people applying for scholarship. Can you imagine if the head office in a Freetown, right? They have branches, they have the deputy director, that is the DD. So what they will do is to develop a portal wherein you can just go, you follow the link, you just go and click on the link, you apply for the scholarship. You know, it also creates job opportunities. Our brothers and sisters do normally apply for job through online. We have those online programs, online trainings, you know, summits. Some of us normally benefit from that. So even the social networking is another set of it. And also the news, what we are doing now, Radio Colenten FM 90.7, and Radio Colenten has its own, we have our own Facebook page, which is Radio Colenten FM 90.7. We are on Facebook. So if you want to know everything about Cambia or whatever thing that has to do with Cambia you want to know, you know the name Radio Colenten clearly explain to you that it's a Cambia radio station, and whatever thing they are posting has to do with what is coming from Cambia or in and out of Cambia also. So if you want news, you can just click on Facebook and you see what really Radio Colenten is doing. That's the area of the news. So there are many, but just a brief explanation. And
alright, thank you.
Helping us.
That's another A. Kamara, who is with me, help me pushing the Program Education Corner. Remember, if you're just joining us, we're listening to the Program Education Corner. Today we are looking at the negative effects of the social media towards the school-going pupils, but we are providing you background information as to the different platforms. Yes, I mean the different social media platforms.
Of course, Mr. Samad, just as my brother has mentioned the types, I would like to look at the some of the applications that are used today, you know, by students. Remember, our topic is on education, because of course social media is in different disciplines, but purposefully for this particular meeting, of course, let us look at on education. We have some of these applications are Facebook, the prevailing WhatsApp today. Of course, we have Twitter, Instagram, you know, Zoom. You know, Zoom is one of the applications to me that I enjoyed most. It is highly educational. How? Of course, you meet with people, you engage, you know, having a conference or a meeting. You can even, you know, have your students receive lectures from your lecturer. Like I could still remember during the corona outbreak, some of our lecturers used to, you know, give us materials online. Then they engage us through Zoom. It's just you getting the link or the password from the lecturer. Then you join the meeting. Again, the lecturer who is sharing the link or the password can as well control, you know, the system. Probably there will be, you know, the noise coming, the ambience, of course, so to speak. You know, then he or she has an option, you know, to mute the mic. Again, on WhatsApp, of course, you know, it is to me it has reduced, you know, the risk of you know, transferring messages, you know, from one place to another. And the emergence of WhatsApp, you know, it's economical. Of course, yes.
So in other words, you are saying the WhatsApp can be used by students to help them improve on their educational.
Of course.
How would it happen?
For example, I am a teacher of Ahmadiyya Muslim Secondary School. I have my students. I could still remember 2021. I created a WhatsApp group for them titled SSS 3 Arts. Purely those that I was taking literature. So whilst I was in Freetown, I used to send them audios on you know, specific topics. in the books they are offering, on the syllabi, of course, and then the poems. So they will listen some of those explanations, then comprehend them. To me, I think that is one of the positive aspects of WhatsApp. Again, some of those students, they have their parents not with them. On the side of Cambia, here you have students coming from different corners of the surroundings of Cambia district. They used to discuss with their parents, in terms of some of the challenges they have in schools, getting some help, support, and also their relatives that are outside Sierra Leone by extension. On Facebook, of course, Facebook is one of the mostly used social media application, and it's highly popular. A good number of students in Sierra Leone and beyond Sierra Leone are using it. When you have your pictures posted, it will be seen by every other person that
so
is using
Facebook, for example, how students, because now we are looking at the positive aspect, because we shall come to look at the topic proper, which is the negative effect of social media towards education. But like the Facebook you mentioned, how can they benefit using through education?
Of course, the facts cannot be overemphasized here, Mr. Samad. I always want to use myself as an example. I have specific people that I'm following in Facebook. One of them is Umar Fofana, the BBC reporter for Sierra Leone. Anytime Umar Fofana posts an article, you have some new vocabularies that you learn from him. The way he constructs his sentences, the syntax is correct, and also it correlates with the semantics of those sentences. You know that this is an academically baked somebody that has all it takes for you to learn from. And there are other people in Sierra Leone, like some of these barristers, when they have their articles posted, you take your time to read. You can learn from them. You'll be better informed.
Okay. All right. Let me bring in on Ekma now. We have looked briefly some of the positive aspects of it, of social media, towards people's educational pursuits. Now, let me look at the negative effects. Today, the social media, like my brother said, it has been kind of a popular kind of aspect. In fact, it has become an everyday human aspect that one cannot do without. Some people sleep and wake with the social media. They work with the social media. They talk with the social media. Whatever aspects of their life. I mean, somebody was jokingly saying today, if you have your Android phone laid in the parlor, and your child laid in the parlor, if two of those objects, the child and the phone, happen to make sound at the same time, a child is crying, and of course a call coming, using the WhatsApp or whatever means, the parents, the mothers prefer picking the call than taking their children.
Well, that's related cause to the topic we are discussing.
The negative effect
of it. And my brother has already spoke on the area of the impact. Sometimes it creates
the positive impact. Well, now let's look at the negative impact.
Yes. So the negative impact. Can I start with one? Has to do with false information on news.
Well, basically, we have to relate it to education. The people.
Yes. I'm coming to the education sector because. This one key thing, and I believe what we are discussing has to do with education, and it's more beneficial to education. It's social media.
All right, go ahead.
One, for example, we spend more time on social media than reading our books, and if you get addicted to social media, you have less time for your books or for your notes. Although some are saying being on social media is a waste of time, but sometimes for me, I am using social media to take classes, to study. Even when I sat the WAS exams, that was 2019, I used the social media, which has to do with YouTube. I use YouTube throughout my studies. My mom was sending me money to pay for classes. What I normally do is that I receive the money, then I purchase gigabytes, which is 1 gig. That is something like 15,000 old leons. I'll just use it and buy 1 giga. I'll go online and chat. whatever topic you want. YouTube is another, let me say, it's the biggest university in the world that people are using to learn every day. But could go in pupils are misusing the social media. How? Instead of going in short of assignments, we have our assignments which our teachers give us in school. Say when you go home, try to practice this one. Instead of doing that, we have our phones. We each our parents bought for us to study. What we have to do is to go online. We have some porn videos, we have some XX videos, some things that are not even relevant to your education, that will not even add value to your education. Trust me, this social media has done more harm in terms of WAS exams. That is also the Beke. Now if a school going people don't have a phone or WhatsApp phone, that individual will just see it like she's not part of the ones that are taking the WAS exams or Beke, because they have some groups that they creating a group wherein he passes the information, or it is good, but other people are using it in the other way around. They use this group. If you have exams in my group, I'll just go and scan, and maybe I'll just receive 1 or 2 information from a colleague. I'll just take it and send it for you. So subject is out. These are the questions, these are the answers before going for the exam.
So in other words, using the social media like the WhatsApp, I mean, sending posts of question papers that are released earlier from unknown sources, I stand to be corrected, and so they keep circulating this one, sending from one post or from one forum or from one individual to the other. But sometimes they are not verifiable.
Yes, they are not verifiable, and I want to say this: they are coming from they are coming from people that we know. You know, there is no information going out without having a source. It is coming from someone.
From people.
And I want to say this: in social media, whatever thing you send out, you have no control of it again. Take a shot here, and I share it to you, or maybe on my status. Just take it and screenshot. You share it. Then if you share it, I have no control over it again. Your friends will see it.
So even if you delete it,
even if I delete it, it's already gone. We have a WhatsApp app right now, which is GB. If you share something, even if it is a mistake, by the time you delete it, it's already gone. So you see.
So in other words, these things, verification is not part of the student now. They don't verify.
They don't verify.
No sooner they see them, just send them.
And some are even using it to a crime, which has to do with the cyberbullying. And now
we shall come to that.
There are laws.
We shall come to that. Let me bring him on, Lamin Kamara. I mean, the use of the social media negatively by students, you know, to kind of derail their attention to educational pursuits. It's very rife, and it's very, very common among the young people. I was telling them this afternoon when I had them that today students spent more hours, over 12 hours, on their phones, just selfieing, just downloading, posting, something, watching films, rather than, going, do research around their study areas.
Of course, Mr. Samad, I was just contemplating when my brother was speaking that if students would have known the dangers that surrounds social media, they would have not ventured into it. But again, let us look at it on this side. Today, passing an exams is to secure an Android phone or smartphone. People pay more attention on that than buying textbooks. I had my aunt, her son was persistently and consistently reminding her of buying him an Android phone, because according to him, he mentioned that today if you don't have one of those Android phones or smartphones, you will not be able to pass external exams, NPSC, Beke and WASC. Of course, I just want to bore you a little what I had, and I verified that because I had you spoke of verification. It's very much important, Mr. Samad. This concluded they just published WASC results during the exams. I heard of an issue that happened in one of the schools, in Freetown, that the pupils were to have two subjects at the same time, the commercial or business study department had business management, whilst those in the science faculty had physics. Now what happened? Both subjects started at the same time. After they finished the essay aspect of those subjects, now they started the objectives. And unknowingly to the subject master, who was serving as an invigilator in the science class that we are taking the physics objectives, of course they had a WhatsApp group where they receive some of these answers, via teachers, or agents, of course, because now we have people who have taken some of these activities as their job, so they've created self-employment for themselves. The teacher who was invigilating physics took business management OBJ objective answers, then shared them with the PPs or the candidate that we are writing physics exams. So nobody could stand the test of time to do some ramification or rectify the problem. Neither the teacher nor the people,
or to verify the answers.
Of course, to verify the answers. Neither the teachers that was serving as the vigilator who was sharing the answers, nor the PPs or the candidate that we are writing the exams.
So they were writing something like the wrong answers.
They wrote business management answers for physics.
Wow.
At the end of the day, the whole school, they didn't pass physics, and they tried to know what was the problem. Then later, one of the teachers suggested that let us check in our WhatsApp group, because actually I have one of the question papers for physics objectives, and the answers I saw were not the answers we worked. There are some schools in Sierra Leone today that have taken it, just as I mentioned earlier, that the only way to pass exams is to secure an Android phone through the use of WhatsApp.
Momel, I mean, as you are saying, it bothers me to a large extent that because by every indications, the Android phones are designed by human beings. All the apps that are found therein are designed by human beings. Today, you ask people 3 times 12. That people can consult a phone or an ADI machine. It bothers a lot of people who have educational standards.
My father told me, Mr. Samad, that he said today the funniest thing he identified or as the new normals, as it was said by Mr. Mahmoud, the principal for Ahmadiyya Muslim Secondary School, that mathematics teachers today, they cannot solve logarithm problem without the use of calculator or phones. And then those same mathematics teachers can not answer times table questions without consulting calculators or their phones. In fact, I don't want to to me it would serve as a redundancy or redundant to use calculator, even because most people did not bother to secure calculators now, especially those in the science faculty and in commercial faculty.
So they prefer their phones.
They prefer phones.
But unfortunately, some schools, they don't entertain students taking their phones to school.
Of course, yes. I always say this, that I have some schools even within Cambia district that I know that did not involve a shirt. Of course, people may have their own view or opinion, as they have rights to that. But again, when you visit some schools like Ahmadiyya, I know the principal, Mr. Musa Kedimamun, does not condone such things. He always says that to teachers, and teachers, of course, refrain from that. Go to Potloko district, Mr. Samad, you have Murialdo. Murialdo, of course, the principal is the father, and they have their hall. The school hall, students write exams on their own. I had in Fabe College, whilst I was in year 3, the students who came first in 2021 WASC exams was from Murialdo. He got 6 A's. That student was also the best student in engineering department in year 1. Out of 11 modules he offered, he had 10 A's and 1B. So it tells you that he deserves his results, his performance,
Alright.
and again, they are not part of the new normals that have taken by many principals today as the new system to pass exams.
Okay. All right. You're listening to the program Education Corner. Education Corner is a program that touches on issues that border on education. Today, we are looking at the negative effects of the social media to school-going pupils. Abdulsamad is my name, who is bringing the program this evening. In the studios, I'm with Arnold Ig Kamara, the dedicated worker of Radio Colent, and of course, the president for CFA, and of course, Mohamed Lamin Kama, also one of the teachers, of course, Madia Rukupu. You can send your comment, contribution, text messages, ask your questions on the number 033 207 078987 315 034905905, or if you WhatsApp we on the number 032815940. And on Ekamara, now let me look at the negative, still on the negative effects of the social media. Today, it's no gainsaying, it doesn't take any stretch of imagination that we are no longer using our brains, our heads to pass exam. Where do you think we are going as a nation? Because when exams are closest or at the door, you see students, school-going pupils, especially the external examinations, Becky and Wise, you see them panting behind their uncles, their parents, to buy them phones. And the parents are also, they stoop so low as to acquiesce to buy phones for their children in the name of passing the exams at all cost, rather than using the natural, the God-given talent, the brain, which can also equally pass the exam like the phone as well.
Yeah. To start with, we have our own belief, which says better picking, better salon.
Okay.
That has to we say better children and
Better scenario. Okay.
and it comes from the school, the education sector. All those doctors, presidents we are seeing come from the classroom. So I want to also buttress on the issue my brother was commenting on, which has to do with these WhatsApps, this Facebook or other platforms. And also I want to bring this notice that even these teachers that are standing in front of the kids, the school-going pupils, to teach them, these are the teachers again that will go around behind the school. They will photocopy papers.
Well, actually, I don't want us to focus on teachers.
Other things.
Let us focus on the negative effects
all
of the social media.
This one is an effect, because if really we want a better children for better Sierra Leone, it is coming from the classroom.
Okay.
So, and it has to do with the foundation. And for class 1, I want to comment teachers that are in class 1.
So in other words, teachers are using the social media platform to negatively destroy the children.
I think
as well.
before the use of these phones comes up years back, the first thing that we are doing it was photocopying papers.
Okay.
They would distribute to everybody. I sat to one school in Cambia. I was a victim of it, and my teachers, we are the ones panting behind us to contribute. They ask us for 400,000 leons. You have to pay.
And did you pay that one?
For me, I did not pay.
Okay.
It was an issue for me between the teachers and me, but at that time I was also part of CFN, so it was a risk, something very critical to work on, to even handle me, or maybe to report me to the principal, because
you are waking it up today also in this program.
Yes, and this is something that we started earlier on to advocate on this.
Okay.
We have engaged several parties, I mean key stakeholders that are key players in education sector. Also, we have engaged the free quality coordinator, who is Mr. Bamba, and also reported some of these issues. But again, we have the education ministry. Some of these things, they are something that is not hidden again. Okay. Everybody knows about it.
You, Arnold, how are the school-going pupils using the social media to negatively impact their education? How are they using the social media?
Well, one thing that comes up again is they take their phone to school.
Okay.
And if we have an administration that is strict, or have policies or rules and regulations, that should be one thing that should not be mandated for someone to take his or her phone to the school compound. But teachers are teaching, and these kids are busy using their phones, and from my observation, when you go down to some schools on Monday, I want to bet you go to some schools, do your observations, just go around and walk around the classes, do your observation when a teacher is teaching, then watch a set of groups of pupils in the classroom. We have them. We have the Mami Queens. We have the 5-0s. They are there in classrooms.
That takes us to an issue. I was following it. A teacher was following it. He was walking. He entered in one. He was passing along the corridor, and unfortunately for some group of students, they are watching pornographic kind of videos.
Yeah.
And the matter was like the boy was fished out. With protruded trouser, because he was like in a different world watching those pornographic audios. The teacher fished him out. The parent was called, but some days later, because the student was asked to stay off school for some days until the parents visited the school, and the parent visited the school. All that he could do one night was to call one of the teachers who called the students on the height, watching pornographic, kissing him. Well, you guys try and come up with your resolution now, because if my child is not going to further his education, I think squarely you are the one going to be blamed. To the parents, it was wrong that the teacher saw the boy watching pornographic videos, and it was wrong also to have fished the boy out and sent him home.
Yes, it is. For the teachers have their own right, and it's quite sure that they have all what it takes to suspend that individual. And as parents, I expect that parents to go to the school and ask what was the issue exactly. After explaining to her, maybe she'll know what's next to do. But again, taking a phone to call, and maybe can I say you threaten the teachers that if my child do not continue with his or her schooling, you have contributed to destroy his own future. But again, you the parents that is encouraging short, tell me, what future do you want for that of your child? If we are used to using our phones, pornographic things, instead of going in short of notes. One thing again, what's normally bothered me is we want to copy the Western world, because we are seeing, when we go to Facebook or WhatsApp, we see some videos wherein others are taking classes. The Western world, they are with their computers, but they are using it productively. Okay. But we are copying some of these things, but we don't use it. And Sierra Leoneans, we are good in destroying ideas. Okay. To build up ideas, we have a lot of ideas, natural talent given to us, but to apply it and have a productive idea coming from it, we don't have it in Sierra Leone. And we as young people, it is high time for us to always remind ourselves that this social media is good, but it is good for those that are entrepreneurs, for those that are ready to learn, for those that are also want to be mentored by key stakeholders or key personnel that are in social media platforms. Because I don't know, I copy some moves from different people, like my mentor, who is Siba, the Minister of Information and Civic Education. Every now and then I'm on Facebook chatting for him, his moves, what he's doing, and I'm following that individual, and something is changing in my life. So if you have those kind of mindsets, it will be productive for you, but it depends on the way you use the social media.
Well, but I mean, some people believe, in fact, generally people believe, especially those that are educated and they are glued to the social media, that the social media the internet is a world library. What does that mean, especially in relation to how students could have used the facility to better their lives educationally?
Of course, I could still remember, Mr. Sama, that you said the death of an old man is like burning the whole library. Yeah. And now, before this time, we used to meet people we knew exceptional when it comes to, mastering some disciplines, of course. But today, social media has replaced that one. Anything you want is in some of these applications. Like I used to have some topics whilst I was fighting for the honors class. Those topics were highly difficult. So the best I did for myself was to go for them in YouTube, just as my brother mentioned that YouTube is the biggest university in the world. Yeah. So I have some video tutorials that I listen to. I jot my points, then I understood all those topics. Again, that is what we are expecting some of these people to be doing, engaging some of these applications. You download some videos that will impact your life educationally. There you have some stands there in getting flying colors in external exams. Of course, it's very much important. You have some tutors from India. I have this that because Sierra Leone is at the back, because my uncle used to tell me, so some people used to say Sierra Leone is at the back, but he used to ask, where is the queue? He said, because Sierra Leone, we don't know where the queue is, so we've not even joined the queue. One of our lecturers, Professor J.D. Ali, told us whilst he was lecturing us foundations of history. He said he was invited in America to give a public lecture.
Okay.
Yes. Of course, the lecture should start at 10.
Okay.
He went to the auditorium at 9:30. He waited until 10. He couldn't see any students around. He never knew that the students have logged in to the university website. Then they are seeing him. They were waiting for the lectures.
To start at 10.
To start at 10.
Only for him to be there waiting for the
students.
Physically present in class.
Because that is what he had used to in Fabe College, waiting for students to be seated in class.
Okay.
So he waited until 10:30. He didn't see any students. So one of the directors came in. He said, yes sir. I said, please, continue. He said the students have logged into the university website and they are persistently asking questions that you've not started the lectures. Then he started.
He was like just there standing.
Oh, of course, he was just there standing, waiting. So he started the lectures. After 30 minutes, he saw some questions pumping in. Questions from students. To him, he said he was praised after the lectures, but he felt ashamed. He cast aspersions on the educational system of Sierra Leone. That had this system brought in.
Well, one could also say, to me, I would also blame those that invited him, because they could have made him unfed with the circumstances he found himself.
The expectation was that Sierra Leone would have been, alongside following the system. Remember, just as we started this discussion, that we are living in a global world, and social media, a world of communication, and social media has dominated, all the engagements and activities of us, our activities. Sorry, and now the only way to be famous, to be inclusive, and active in society is to engage in social media.
Alright, listeners, you can send your comment, contribution, your questions, your answers on the number 03-3207-807-315 and ask your questions. Already I've got 3 messages, but of course in the studios I have my guest Lamin Kamara. Of course, is a Fulbright, and of course, Arnold Ekma also an IPAM student. Is doing his second year now, and they were having a nice time. So you can send a contribution. Today the topic, we are looking at the negative effects of the social media. So it will go in papers. Let's just have a few seconds, minute break, come back and look at the rest of the other issues, the comments, questions, and then try to wrap up the program.
Opportunity don't come for you. Don't let them, sister. Say knowledge and truth are for father spread. Education are free, but step, make things happen now. And it's the way you there, that's alone. Education not free. And you come away you there, that's alone. Education not free.
So you say books sweet pass money in gold na school. Make a talk that. And the lunch chef sweet pass money na bowl na free. And you no go pay 1 cent. And no go get me na do for school fee. Come rather self no go yak for September 1. Education are the key. Education are for we. And this why I'm free.
Say knowledge and truth are for father spread.
Education are free.
But picking and picking for go school.
Education are free.
Say salon today. Oh mama.
Education are free. Education are free. Send your begin to school, mama. Send your begin no, papa. Education are free. Not school. Send your begin go, mama.
Make you not get belly. Make you not get belly. Send them to school. Make you not get belly. Okay, 2 plus 1 and 3. Well, you know go pay 1 kobo. Education are free. Distraction until a book no leg. The king for go straight be a knock cake. Compare no more excuse. Send them for land. No symbol be floppy. Go send them to man. Before try to pull your kind of bacteria. Education are teaching gently, yeah.
Say knowledge and truth are for father spread.
Education are free.
But picking and picking for go school.
Education are free.
Say salon today. Oh mama.
Education are free.
Indeed, education is free. You listen to the program Education Corner that reaches you every Sunday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. The boy Abdul Samad is my name, bringing you the program this evening. In the studios, I'm with my guest Anul A. Kamara and of course Mohamed Lamin Kamara. You can send a comment, question, contribution on the number 03-3207-800-89315-315-034905905. Anul A. Kamara, as we've just had a music break, we were looking at negative effects of the topic is the negative effect of the social media to school going pupils. Now let's look at the WAS results, that have just been released. We can see praises all about the country, but painfully or unfortunately, so there in Sierra Leone you see arts students are making more good grades in mathematics than in literature and in English, while science students are also making good grades. Some of them who are doing literature as opposed to chemistry, physics. I mean, what's your take on this in relation to the topic, the negative effects of the social media to school going pupils?
This reminds me of one issue which has to do with the English exams. They said when they went for the exams, why they withheld some results, it is because of some, even in the area of letters, to write letters, they even copy the letter that they give to them, like I told you earlier on.
Yeah, they copied it.
They copied it, and even it's a female name.
Okay.
Can you imagine? Yours faithfully, I am Arnold. I indicate yours faithfully, Fatmata Sanko.
Okay.
So
in other words, the whole class they wrote Fatmata Sanko.
Yes.
Regardless whether you are a boy or a girl.
And it clearly, I don't know, clearly speak out by saying it has to do with malpractice, comparison.
Okay.
Because if I, Arnold, wrote a name, which is Fatmata Sanko, I am not Fatmata, then you see the next person again did the same thing. It is clearly that it is comparison, because the same thing happens throughout, but it is happening in schools.
So in other words, the misuse of the social media by school-going pupils is affecting them in a very huge way, and to the extent that the results some of them are having are not reflective of the characters, the person with the result.
Yes, they did not reflect to what the individual deserve.
Okay.
For me, I sat WAS 3 times. I am proud of it, because why? I sat once, which I have 5 credits without English and math.
Okay.
I was discouraged anyways. I cried for the whole week, crying, because it was my first failure
attempt.
Yes.
And then
my first failure in all the classes.
Okay.
So can you imagine? I felt so bad, and I felt like I am discouraged to continue with education, but I go again. My mom encouraged
So
me.
you went for the other
I went
second
for
time.
the other
Okay.
one, and my mom encouraged me and give some advice and say this is your problem. And my issue was to cut this. We have some letters like the R,
The I, the dot,
I.
dot
I
in the-
have issue with that.
All
So
right.
my mom tried to advise and bring that to my notice. And yes, I thought it fit that. Yes, it is.
In other words, you are not cutting your teeth, you are
At
not
all.
dotting your eyes.
That was
You
my.
are not even mindful of your punctuations,
At all.
your signals.
Sure.
All right, let me bring him on. I mean, our time is fast spent. Basically, today we can see good results, but I mean, some students are scared of going to the university. Is it because of the university fee, or because they are not? I mean, good representation of those grades?
It's not the university fees. Again, of course, I want to agree agreeably that the performance does not reflect, the IQ of those students.
Okay.
I was part of those that marked this just published English language, because my HOD is also my supervisor. He's a chief examiner for English language in WAEC. And question 3, which was the formal letter that was asked to be written to the chairman of the city,
Yeah.
of course, and question 5, which was the narrative essay.
Yeah.
Honesty is the best policy,
Yeah.
of course.
Yes.
A good number of the students, the candidate that I marked, more than 50 of them, got they wrote the same thing. It was just a carbon copy. Okay. And it will be fine as part of the solution. Probably we shall be coming to that principals should be going for examiners reports on each subject. Each year we have examiners reports for WAEC. You go for them. So Mr. Samad, a good number of them, that is why this they just published results. We have 17% those that passed English. So a good number of those, the decision came from the chief examiner, Dr. Walon Jalo, that those that answered question 3 and 5 should be nullified.
Okay.
Of course, and a whole lot of them could not stand the test of time. That is one of the reasons. Again, those students who have series of A's, they sometimes the university issue, they seem to be moved, Mr. Samad. Then going to the university, they could not withstand the pressure. We had of the entrance exams last year. Last year was one of the best years so far, and public was exams. The result was in a kind of the percentage was higher as of the recent years. Guess what? The Minister of Technical and Higher Education said those universities should administer entrance exams, and it used to be Fabe College for mass comm.
Yeah, of course, mass communication.
Even if you got 9 ones, you write entrance exams,
And if you fail, they fail you.
they fail you
You
because
must be there to sign the signature of your failure.
of your failure. It's a no nonsense department for a college. So if you could not withstand the test of writing essays and answering summary questions and comprehension, then you start to nail your coffee all by yourself.
All right. Okay. Can we go into the inbox now? We don't have more time in our favor. This one is saying, Mr. Presenter, please can you ask both presenters to provide solutions as to the current trend in terms of the negative effects of the social media to school-going pupils. This one is coming from Mohamed Sise. He's sending this one. This other one say, thanks, Mr. Presenter, for this short wonderful program. But my question is, how do we think we can make a turnaround of all of these things happening today? Students pant behind their parents to buy them expensive phones at the expense of their very selves. Like the mass failure and the seizure of public examinations, right? The same thing. What could be the recommendation? I think this could be the last issue we are looking at the time in our favor. Yes, and all recommendations.
All right. First, I want to start with we the children. We have to be focused and determined to whatever thing we are doing, and education should be the top priority for whatever life. And our parents are there supporting us to learn. So what we have to do now is to stay focused, we go for the vital materials. I mean, let's go for it. Let's do our assignments and let's read ahead of our teachers. It will help us. But to the current trend of education now, anyways, it has a lot of effect because our girls and boys are doing what is not expected of them doing. Even the issue of the smoking of kush, prostitution. If you see your elder sister holding a phone or WhatsApp phone or Android doing some videos dancing to share on TikTok, child is there, that child will also copy that same thing. So I want to advise the parents also. Some of you, the parents, are the parents that normally do some of these things. Instead of busy with your phone doing some assignments or office works, what they try is to go online and do some chatting of irrelevant information. So that's something that's normal. But we want to advise parents, please, if you want Sierra Leone to be a better place, it has to do with the foundation. That's why we said laying a solid foundation. That's our motto. And they said, who feels it knows it, and there is nothing for us without us. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I mean, come on. Finally, briefly, your end of notes as far as the program concerned.
Yeah, of course. I want to bring in the actors in the educational system, but because, of course, we are talking about the negative impact of students, negative impact of social media to students. Educationally, we have several actors. The teachers are also there. They are captured. Parents, and the government. What I am saying is that principals or heads of schools should ensure that they stop pupils from taking phones into the classes or to school even. And also try to monitor them. Their parents should do the job at home, because the teacher only have the pupil or the students 8 hours per day. So the parents, you spend the rest of the remaining hours under your feet and thighs. And somebody was telling me that today to acquire first positions in school is those positions are determined by the parents that grease the palm of the teacher. The more money you give, the more positions you get, the higher position. But again, I want to tell those parents that they are not helping their kids, they are not helping their children. They will live after them tomorrow, and that period or that moment they will realize that they were just beating at the doors. And again, the deputy director of education should also ensure that to me, let him take frequent tours to some of these schools, telling them, bringing some institutions, organizations as to how they give him motivational speeches against some of these practices.
All right. Please, thank you for of course for coming to the program this evening on the program Education Corner. That's Mohamed Lamin Kamara, of course my guest this evening, who elaborated on the negative effects of the social media to school going pupils. Remember, today the topic is the negative effects of the social media to school going pupils, and that parents, teachers, the government, the stakeholders must ensure that the use of phone in public examinations will be seriously discouraged if you actually want to see education at its best in this country. Well, I have been your host. Of course, I have been your presenter in today's program, which is Education Corner. Till Sunday again, when the program will reach you. Special thanks to those that send their text messages on behalf of my executive producer, Abraham Jane, my production manager, James Bansua, and of course Abakal Suma, who provided technical assistance to ensure the program reached you out. Thank you. Till Sunday.